Let's start with the reigning, defending, two-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, who lose yet another key offensive player yesterday, this time Rashee Rice, most likely for the season. Now, Rice has not undergone fully his test today. We may not find out for sure today that it's a torn ACL for Rashee Rice, but we are expecting Rashee Rice to miss the rest of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Kansas City does beat the LA Chargers yesterday. That's kind of like lost in the headline. Rashee Rice likely done for the year. Kansas City does win and win the game by 7. This game's nuts. I should have turned the TV off. So the Chiefs do win the game yesterday. Never look away. That is a Pyrrhic victory for Kansas City. I'm happy I paid attention long enough in school to know things like Pyrrhic victory, which is when you win something, but it comes at a great cost, because Rashee Rice now going to join Hollywood Brown on the shelf for Kansas City, going to join Isaiah Pacheco on the shelf for Kansas City. And let's be clear about this. Of the three, there can be no question that Rashee Rice is the biggest loss. Pacheco's a really good player, not taking anything away from him, runs with a hard physical style. Hollywood Brown, when he catches the ball, is a good player, and he is a good player, to be fair. I've bagged on him a lot over the years. He's a good player. None of them are as good as Rashee Rice, who looked ready and poised to take the leap to the next level. Maybe not into the conversation with like Justin Jefferson and the truly elite wide receivers in the NFL, but honestly, like not far off from it. And now Rashee Rice being out leaves Kansas City's skill position group as follows. Carson Steele and Kareem Hunt at running back. Xavier Worthy, who is really fast. Can he be a number one? Doesn't look like it right now. He's going to have to be. Xavier Worthy, Justin Watson, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Sky Moore as the receivers. You think this team's going to have to make a move? Anyone thinks that's sustainable coming up this season? It's not. And Travis Kelce finally had a good game yesterday, getting off the schneid, 7 catches, 89 yards. He still looks like he's 100 years old, and they're looking to keep him fresh for the postseason. Now, because the Chiefs won the game yesterday and improved to 4-0, the betting market is still way in on Kansas City. The Chiefs are still the favorite to win the AFC, plus 210. They're still the favorite to win the Super Bowl, plus 500, and Patrick Mahomes back to being the MVP favorite with Buffalo's loss last night to Baltimore. Mahomes, plus 240 to be NFL Most Valuable Player. Kansas City, a 5.5-point favorite next Monday night against the New Orleans Saints. I think likely to win that game. We can have a conversation about whether the Chiefs can cover a big number with the state of the team being what it is right now. And the Chargers basically played them to a standstill. I thought unlucky result for the Bolts. And they're going to trade for a receiver at some point here. Amari Cooper would be my choice. I've seen some people talk about Devontae Adams as if like Mark Davis would die before he traded Devontae Adams in division to Kansas City. I think like Amari Cooper would be best case scenario. Maybe someone like Darius Slayton is actually more realistic for the Kansas City Chiefs. So while the market is still high on Kansas City, I think now at some point this season, it is easy to make a case that the Chiefs, much like the American Dream Dusty Rhodes back in the 80s, will fall on hard times at some point this regular season. I thought the Chiefs would go 15-2, 14-3. Maybe they still can. I think it's likely, though, that we will see Kansas City have some type of swoon over the course of this regular season, given that the skill positions are absolutely dreadful. And if and when that happens, you people, I'm talking to you. You, the listener, you, the person watching. Hashtag you people will talk yourselves into Houston, Baltimore, Buffalo. Can't say it with a straight face. Maybe in the NFC, you'll talk yourself into the San Francisco 49ers. People will talk themselves into these other teams, right? In the AFC and the NFC, which means that the time has not yet arrived. But I'm very confident that it will, to buy the Kansas City Chiefs. At the end of the day, it's still Steve Spagnuolo. It's still Chris Jones. It's still this awesome defense. It's still Andy Reid. And it's still number 15, the Dragon, Patrick Mahomes. We did this every year with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. And to be fair, Brady and the Patriots never three-peated. But every year, they would hit some kind of lull, and everyone would talk themselves into the Steelers, the Ravens, the Colts, And I understand, like the Patriots didn't win every year. They won a decade in between Super Bowl championships. I still look at the Chiefs with Mahomes and Reed, and I see the best team in the league. Now, maybe they're not the best team in the next 6 weeks while they figure stuff out, but I feel pretty confident that at the end of the year, they will still be the best team. So the time has not yet arrived to buy Kansas City, but when it does, I will be in, and I think you should be in as well.
All right, how about an update from Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is feared to have torn his ACL. He collided with quarterback Patrick Mahomes during their 17-10 win over the Chargers. The latest from head coach Andy Reid per Ian Rappaport. He told reporters Rice is still undergoing tests, an indication that full answers may not come today, but it's safe to say he is out indefinitely. The injury bug continues to spread with Kansas City already out wide receiver Hollywood Brown and starting running back Isaiah Pacheco both on the injured reserve. With Rice likely out for the year, expect wide receivers Justin Watson, Xavier Worthy, and Juju Smith-Schuster to hopefully step up the rest of the way. Femi, these Chiefs just can't catch a break with all these injuries. And not just them, this has been happening all across the NFL. I mean, how much does this loss of Rashee Rice impact their chances of completing the three-peat?
I think you heard the fans of 31 other teams being like, what do you mean the Chiefs can't catch a break? With all the assistance from the referees, or at least allegedly, according to most fans that have to play the Kansas City Chiefs. But this is a really big injury for the Chiefs. So, already the run game hurts with Pacheco out, and you saw them have to bench Carson Steele second straight game that he's fumbled. Now it's Kareem Hunt back there in the running back, as if this is 2017 or something like that. So it's a big loss for Rashee Rice in the passing game because Hollywood Brown is out. Xavier Worthy, he flashed. He had that touchdown yesterday, deep ball from Mahomes, but Rashee Rice is sort of the stabilizer in that offense, and he's clearly now Mahomes' probably favorite target because Kelsey is Mahomes' best friend or whatever, but Kelsey's not what he once was. And I know the broadcast yesterday was how about all the people talking about Travis Kelsey, blah, blah, blah. Dude, we all have eyeballs. He's not the player he was 3-4 years ago, and that's okay to say. That's not saying that he's not going to eventually go to the Hall of Fame. That's not saying that he's one of the greatest tight ends of all time. He's just not what he was in 2021. Because it's 2024, and the natural progression for a tight end, especially an older one, is to get worse. He's not that good of a player. That's why Kansas City's offense hasn't been that good, because him being great while having a really good receiver was the cheat code for Patrick Mahomes in this offense. So I don't think there's any sort of shade at Travis Kelsey from that regard. But from a betting standpoint, I think this leans more into some of these Kansas City Chief unders. Luckily, their defense is really good, and Chris Jones, 2 sacks yesterday. I think they should still win a lot of games because you have a great defense, you have Patrick Mahomes, and you have Andy Reid. But from an offensive standpoint and laying big numbers, I'm not so sure this is the team that I would want to do that with. I know their game next Monday night against the New Orleans Saints. That's a really interesting game. Right now, the Chiefs are 5-point favorites with a total of 42.5. I don't think I could ever lay 5 points with Kansas City. You need to be 3.5 in that range before I got interested in betting the Kansas City Chiefs. I think their offense isn't good enough to cover those types of numbers, and we'll start to see that over the course of these next few weeks.